Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and X-Men Blue, issue number 33. All right, we know that this and Gold are ending at 35, so with issue 33, there's only this and then 2 more issues to go. Makes sense where the story is going, because it's basically Magneto coming from the future back to a version of our present, or 19 years from now, or just, it's time travel. I don't know. Okay, so let's get into the nits of this story. Writer Cullen Bunn, artist Marcus Toe, color artist Matt Mila, and letterer VC's Joe Caramonga. RB Silva and Rain Barredo do the cover art. Okay, so Magneto comes back to about 19 years from now, I imagine. That's the way this is being explained. And it's a version of the, what is it called? The Days of Future Past. You know what I'm saying? And there's this thing called the Reavers virus that went around. And the only way anybody knew how to get rid of the virus, how to quell the virus, was to kill the actual hosts. Now, that's particularly bad for Magneto, because right now, coming back from the future, he's carrying the ghosts of all the mutants he had to kill with Mother Vine. So that means for a long time, he's been haunted. That's something. Mind you, this is a guy who carries ghosts with him like I carry spare change. You know what I'm saying? I don't actually carry that much spare change. So the analogy is, you know, it's fruitless, but you get where I'm going with it, right? The idea is that he's already bothered by all this, and he's trying to get away. He's trying to be something better than he was, but is he? Is he really? So there's a new look for Magneto in here, and it's not the iconic classic look of the violet and magenta and purple and all that crazy stuff, but this is like pure battle armor. If I were to become Magneto, if you or I were to suddenly get magnetic powers like this guy's got, this is the armor that we would take. Absolutely. And yes, we would totally do the cape just because, but this is absolutely gorgeous. Dude, art team working overtime on this issue. There's also a really cool part where Magneto is taken to where the mutants have been hiding, and he sees this gigantic statue of himself, and he's talking about, I don't think you guys know who, and then when he faces the statue, he sees the statue, and it's like, what? And he's down there, way down there, and he's like, I am. I don't think you know who I am. Now, that's interesting because only I am is on that table. Now, if this were almost anybody else, I'd just ignore it. But this is Cullen Bunn who's writing this. So here's at least when he was younger, a good Christian boy. I don't know about now, you know what I'm saying? But I can't imagine growing up in Missouri and not knowing the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I'm presuming that he did this on purpose. I am is the so-called name of God. When Moses went to the mountain and said, oh, the people are going to ask who sent me. Who shall I say sent me? And the burning bush said, tell them I am that I am. And then later on, one of the proofs in the New Testament that Jesus is God himself is that they say, who are you? And he looked at them and said, I am. And that immediately made the people, the Jewish people who came against him, pick up stones to cast them at him. And then there was the conversation and he wound up slipping out. So I think, yeah, those were the Pharisees. So this is, I take that as very poignant. Maybe it's just a mistake. Maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but I'd like to think that I'm not. And I saw that and I thought that was very interesting because these people, these mutants from the future are actually worshiping Magneto. Like, oh, the Savior has spoken. It's like, whoa, dude, calm down now. But apparently Magneto's brand of justice is exactly what they prayed for and received. So that makes a lot of sense. This was pretty interesting. I dug this comic book. I liked this. It was very single-minded, and I usually have an issue with that, but not with this issue. So I enjoyed this. I like this. The ending is obviously a little bit trippy, but I'm cool with it. Notice there were only 4 of the new original X-Men. We'll see where that goes. But this was fun. And again, I really like this. I mentioned in the This Week in Comics, I love this. Yesterday's X-Men, tomorrow. And That's how I always title my This Week in Comics. I say tomorrow's comics today. So I like that. I'm gonna pretend that I have a huge ego and that Marvel was catering to that ego and just peppered a little bit and gave me that. And it's just like, this is in honor of Professor Bill. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, guys, go grab the comic. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.